Hello, everybody. Welcome to Game Ass. Thanks for joining me tonight on the show. Just doing a quick, short little show tonight because I just did Game Ass not too long ago. So thought I would chime in on some of the events that happened today. And so I appropriately called this show Love Story for that reason, as well as because Jason Dotley, whom we interviewed on the Crew Show, which I do with David from the 5x5 show and Ken from the Kim Boggles show. We do that every week. We're going to be doing that again Thursday, by the way. Be sure to check us out on thecrewshow.net for that, or on Spreaker, sorry. On Thursday around, I think we're doing the show at 10 p.m. I'm pretty sure, but we may be doing it at 1. I don't know. I'll have to find out. But be sure to check that show out. Thursday we're talking, it's my question, and the question is about love, actually. And so what an appropriate time to talk about this on the show as well. But yeah, so we interviewed Jason Dotley on that show, thanks to David, who actually got that interview with him. And we were fortunate enough for him to actually premiere his song on our little tiny show on the internet. No one actually heard it, any part of the song, except for his producer and for he himself and a few people that he knew or whatever. I think he had told us that anyway. He was drinking at the time, so he was kind of open to sharing it with us, I think. So it was nice of him to do. But anyway, since his song was released today, you can get your copy on iTunes. I put the link in the show description if you're interested. I decided that I would, in honor of his release, actually play the song. And I asked him if I could play it, and he said yes. So I want to make sure I got permission from him to play the song. So he said yes, I could play it. He was very happy to have me play it, and he said thank you. So I'm going to play the song for you right now. We'll come right back. Be right back.
Story.
anyway, so that's the song Love Story. So he's a great guy. Be sure you go buy it. The link's in the chat or in the show description. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on in the news right now. There's in terms of love and gay marriage, etc. Right now, there's a federal judge in Oklahoma struck down their gay marriage ban just today, actually. And so, but they won't allow people to get married just yet, just like it was in California, where they wouldn't allow them to get married right away, but it was allowed eventually. And in his ruling, he said, quote, "It's an arbitrary, irrational exclusion of just one class of Oklahoma citizens from a governmental benefit." And it's an amazing turn of events in Oklahoma, because Oklahoma is probably one of the most, or not probably, it is one of the most anti-gay states in the country. I mean, they have tried to put every conceivable anti-gay law on record, any chance they could. So it is unfortunately an issue there. Hopefully they're going to get that fixed. We'll see what happens. But so the good thing is, though, it's been ruled unconstitutional because it's federally recognized as a right. So fortunately, people are going to be able to get married eventually in Oklahoma, and not including Oklahoma and Utah. 27 states still have constitutional prohibitions on same-sex marriage. Four additional ones, Indiana, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Wyoming, do not permit it through state laws. Okay. So there are currently 43 same-sex lawsuits in courts. So 27 of those are in federal court, and Oklahoma is just one of the many going on right now. There's been several people who've sued, and as a result of them suing, this U.S. district judge has overturned the law in Oklahoma. So fortunately, it just looks like, to me, it's just a matter of time, and it's like a bunch of dominoes are just falling down. Like Toy Soldiers, that song goes, "They all fall down like toy soldiers." Martika. Anyway, do you remember that song? Anyway, so they're falling down like dominoes, and just one by one by one by one, because once you get the momentum going, once you get on the right side of the law, once people are aware and, have come to the conclusion of what's right, and just because it is right, it eventually just topples over any other argument you can make. You can't argue against what's right forever. It's just simply a matter of time, a matter of people actually stepping up to the plate and actually making themselves heard about these things. So it is just a matter of time, and I'm sure Oklahoma will, in no time be another state that's going to actually have gay marriage. So meanwhile, around the country, including talking about gay marriage, a U.S. congressman named Sean Patrick Maloney is about to marry his longtime partner. And there's been several marriages going around the country, people in Congress, right now, who are getting married. So a couple of them got married by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, from the Supreme Court. So it's wonderful, and it's just, it's pissing off. So it's pissing off all the right people. Basically, all the right people are getting mad about all these gay people getting married, and it's just it just turns my heart into rainbows and lollipops. The madder they get, the happier it makes me, because it just means that we're winning this fight. And as I've always said all along, and I said years and years ago, since Massachusetts first started this in, I think, 2000, they were the very first state to offer gay marriage legally. I've said it's just a matter of time, and time is proving me right. And after DOMA was overturned this last year, thanks to Edie Windsor's case, it has been just a full-on assault on bigotry, on anti-gay people, and people who use their Bible as a weapon instead of using it for the right reasons. So anyway, there was also a story I read about a Methodist church in northern Indiana, actually, It says it's divided, and as much as 80% of the congregants have left the church after a popular gay choir director was forced to resign, and a respected church lay leader was fired for his support of the choir director. His name was Adam Fraley, who worked for the United Methodist Church in Alexandria, Indiana, for 6 years and attended with his partner. But when a new minister took over the church last year, he said that he resigned because of pressure about his sexual orientation. And the disagreement over whether he should have been allowed to keep his job has basically caused a divide between the church and the members of the church, which has about, they have a lot of members. And according to Fraley, that they began last year when the church's former pastor left to take a leadership position with the Methodist Church's governing council. And the interim minister made it clear that he was very uncomfortable with Fraley's sexual orientation. And Fraley, who was previously married and had one daughter, told people that they'd repeatedly questioned him about reconciling with his former wife and made observations about biblical values and trying to change him back to get it straight as if he ever were to begin with, and so basically this new pastor or director was someone who was a homophobe and was trying his hardest to turn this gay man straight, so that he wouldn't be a representation of that church's quote unquote values or whatever. So anyway, ultimately, he was informed that his services would no longer be needed because he'd neglected his duties as a lay leader, the guy that helped him out or whatever. So anyway, this isn't surprising at all on one hand, because, it's very typical that a church, like any church, especially a Methodist church or something, would be against gay people and try to oust them, even if they've been a member of that church for so long. But what is surprising is that the congregation walked out on the new pastor after they fired Adam Fraley for being gay. They didn't care. The congregation didn't care that he was gay. He was a good choir director, and people liked him. He was liked and lauded for his performance and everything else. So it's ridiculous to get rid of him just because of who he has a relationship with. It's just ridiculous. So that's the good news about that. So it's a little bit of good news in America today about gay issues. And then there's also, on the other hand, there's also a lot of in Nigeria right now. There's a new anti-gay law. It's called, which is called the Jail the Gays Bill. And it's basically putting anyone into prison whom would kiss another man or a woman or whatever, someone of the same sex, or say they were gay, or say they wanted to marry someone who was gay, or just even saying it would put them into jail. And these kinds of things are really human rights issues, and unfortunately, very little actually changes as a result of just people being outraged about it. You actually have to do something about it. But what can we do over here in America? There's something way over there in Africa, I guess, send them money. But what's that going to do? I mean, honestly, I give them my support just as I do in Russia. But what can we do? And it just makes me feel helpless to do anything about changing the tide of some countries, third world countries, basically, that absolutely hate gay people so much they put it on the law that they cannot be who they are. I mean, America has done that as well, putting it into law that we couldn't marry people of the same sex. But in those countries, I mean, their lives are in danger for being gay, and not that they're not here in some way, of course, but I mean, it's government sanctioned bigotry and homophobia, basically, is what that's how I see it anyway. And I think that it's abhorrent and ridiculous, but I don't know. We'll see if that changes or anything. And what else? Hold on a second. Okay. Oh yeah. So, and also there's the Olympic Games right now. President Obama's decided he's going to skip the Olympic Games because of their anti-gay stance, which I think is an amazing thing for the president of the United States to do. And I think other countries should follow in the footsteps of Obama in that stance and absolutely do the same thing. Because, I mean, if we allow bigotry to stay and to fester or whatever, and to be accepted by the masses in the mainstream, then we're saying that it's acceptable to us. And unless it's acceptable to you, then you can't do that and expect people to respect you. I mean, honestly, if people are going to go around, trying to dictate what someone's lifestyle is, if you want to call it that, then, I say that all hicks who live in trailers should be kicked out and forced to build their own fucking real houses, with a real, with a real foundation, and have, get rid of all their pigs and their cows and everything else, and be forced to live in a civilized manner, with an actual toilet that's not raised up above the floor. So, I mean, I'm just being mean, obviously, but I'm saying these people are the ones that always hate gays the most. And to say, oh, you can't love someone of the same sex, well, I'm going to say you can't, I don't know, you can't live in a trailer house and you can't marry your cousin. I mean, whatever. So it's not any more right for me to say that they shouldn't be able to do the things they want to do that take away their freedoms than it is for someone to try to take away ours as gay people. So moving on. So, how I feel about Republicans, and I don't like them. What I like even worse than Republicans generally are gay Republicans. Gay Republicans make no sense to me at all. They never have. That just makes no sense. And because of the majority of the Republican party's stance on social issues, whether it be gays or interracial marriage or abortion or whatever, they're so to the right that it's just bizarre to me that they would want to be aligned with someone so completely against who they are. Gay Republicans, I mean. So, as a founder of the Go Proud, which is a group for gay Republicans, the man's name is Jimmy La Salvia. He served for a long time, cheerleading for the Republican Party, whose policies, as you know, are very anti-gay, or anti-lesbian, anti-gay, anti-bi, anti-transgender, anti-intersex, anti-questioning, anti-anything, right? And so he's always supported them vehemently. But finally, he seems to have faced up to the reality of the situation. And a post on his website, he announced that he's formally renounced his membership in the Republican Party and declared his affiliation as no party. Why? You'll be astonished to learn that it's because he can't abide the tolerance of bigotry in the GOP. Oh my God, that's such a fucking shock. Really? Oh my God, that he can't tolerate the bigotry in the GOP. Really? Where's this man been for the past, 40 years? I mean, honestly, how could someone be surprised by this? It's good that he has had a change of heart, but I mean, really, how stupid do you have to be to feel, I don't know what's the word, to feel like to just now realize that they're bigots. Anyone knows the Republican Party doesn't like gay people, and he's just not realizing that. Really? What a fucking moron. Also, don't forget on Sunday to watch on HBO. If you have HBO, be sure to watch Looking. It's a new series, a new gay series, focused on a gay man who just moved, I think, to San Francisco. And it's sort of a cross between Girls on HBO and Sex and the City, but for gay men instead of women. And so it's not a replica, they say, but it's got the same kind of vibe or whatever. Meaning, you've got these three characters and you're following their lives, and they're single and trying to follow what happens to them. One's older, sort of like Samantha on Sex and the City. One's like the every guy, which is the guy in the middle, the Philip Goff, I think is his name, Goff. He was one that used to date Zachary Quinto. He used to be on Glee. The Goss guy. And then there's another guy who's dating a black guy, who's an artist. So there is actual some representation of minorities. That's good. But as most gay shows, there rarely are any minorities as a main character. They're usually only ancillary, just as they are looking apparently. But I'll still watch it, of course, because anything that's gay and it's good storytelling, I will definitely watch. And plus, it's got some sexy men in it too. The main guy, what is his name? I keep wanting to call him Philip, but it's not Philip. It's oh my God, what is the guy's name? It's Goss or Goff or something. I think it's Goff. Goff is his last name, I think. But what is his name? I've got to look him up now. I'm sorry. I've got to look him up. But it's about 30-something gay men, 30-somethings gay men, of which I am one, by the way. I am 38 and a half this month. So I will be 39 in June. And I'm going to be old and only a year and a half. So I can identify with the oldest guy, I guess, in the show for sure, because he's definitely the one that's that I can probably relate to the most. Except he's not married; he's single. But anyway, the main guy's name is Jonathan Groff as Patrick. He has a successful career as a video game developer, and he's living in San Francisco. And then there's Frankie J. Alvarez as Augustine, who's an artist's assistant and Patrick's best friend. And then there's Murray Bartlett as Dom. Murray Bartlett, what was he in? So I've totally seen him in things before. And I swear to God he's gay, but I'm not sure. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. He was on Sex and the City. Yeah, he was on an episode of Sex and the City where Carrie kind of falls in love with a new gay friend, and she had her best gay friend Stanford, right, whom was kind of an atypical gay guy, or anti-stereotypical gay guy is what I should say. He wasn't exactly particularly pretty or in great shape or anything or competent, and so she meets this really confident, very sexy guy in the know, gay guy, and she falls in love with him, and not falls in love, but you know what I mean, falls in love as a friend with him, and they end up going all around the city and everything else. And anyway, so he played that friend of hers in that one episode, and I'd seen him in other things as well, but he's very good looking. I don't know if he's really gay or not, but he plays gay in the show. So, but I like him. I think he's very good looking. And also we're going to have Scott Bakula on the show. If you know who Scott Bakula is, he was on Quantum Leap. I've always thought he was so good looking, by the way, Scott Bakula. Had the biggest crush on him during the Quantum Leap series. And he was also, of course, on Star Trek Enterprise. I think he was on Enterprise. Was it Enterprise? See, I'm not a Star Trekkie, so I'm not really sure. I think it was Enterprise he was on. It was the one... No, it wasn't Enterprise. That was Baldy. Enterprise was the one with, oh my God, we can see his face, but I can't think of his name. You know who I'm talking about. Oh my God, it's a shame I can't remember his name because I love him as an actor. I can't remember his name, but the guy that played, the captain in Enterprise. There's Enterprise, and then there was... what was the last one? Scott Bakula was in the very last one. Whichever the Star Trek series, their last series was, it wasn't Enterprise, but it was something else. And it was like a prequel or whatever, I think. That's the one he was in. But anyway, I digress as usual. But he's in it. And then Russell Tovey as Kevin is in it. And several other people are in it that you're going to know. So it's going to be really cool. It's 8 episodes, really cool. It's 8 episodes long in the first season, and so that's good. So hopefully it'll be picked up, and because there's not a whole lot of gay TV on anymore, or gay series on television or whatever, whether it's on HBO, Showtime, or on regular television, because I don't know why that is, but it just seems as if they're missing there's a huge gap in the television arena for gay people. And I know Ellen DeGeneres is supposed to be developing a new gay show or series for NBC, I think. But after Will and Grace left, there really wasn't much gay stuff on. And there were a couple of shows that tried last season or season before last, like one was called Partners, which really sucked, and which is by the same guys that did Will and Grace. It wasn't good at all. They didn't have chemistry, the guys on the show, and it wasn't good. And then there's been some other shows that have tried as well. There was another show with a gay character lead, I can't remember, that I used to watch that was canceled as well. But anyway, so they've gotten rid of all of them, and I don't know why that is, because I think that most of America, I mean, the ones on the edges, the ones with the brains, not the ones in the middle, have a actual affinity for gay people, generally speaking, because they know gay people, generally speaking. Whereas in the middle of America, they usually don't know gay people because they're all afraid of us because we're such heathens and horrible people. But I think that's probably part of the reason why. But yeah, so anyway, be sure you check that out. That premieres on Sunday the 19th on HBO. So be sure to check that out. I'm definitely going to watch it, and we're going to talk about it on the show. I think we may talk about it on the crew as well. I'm not sure next week as well. But anyway, so that's all I really have to say. I just want to do a quick show. And thanks for sticking with me with the technical difficulties I had earlier in the show, but I figured them out now, so I know what I'm doing wrong. So be sure and follow me on Twitter, on Facebook, on my webpage, offlimitsshow.com. And of course, I'm also on iHeartRadio and on Spreaker.com. And if you have any questions you want to email me, you can email me at Donovan, DONOVAN, at offlimitsshow.com. Or you can tweet me, or you can post me on Facebook, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. So thanks for listening, and I will talk to you later. Have a good night.